And I yelled at the bus driver and he was so not amused. Oh, hello there. While I'm eating that British staple diet of fish cake and chips because I didn't fancy the big fish today on the menu, I just wanted to say thank you very much for my new subscribers. Your reactions, your comments are making my channel grow, and maybe in the process something else as well. But on that one, ladies and gentlemen, when I bring out a film review, especially a movie that nobody wants to talk about, yes, I'm talking to you, Chris Stuckman, who's gained so much weight in his chin, I now can't tell which is the real Chris Stuckman. And that's not even with special added effects. But I will say this much, I put a lot of time, a lot of effort into making these reviews a lot more funnier for you boys and girls. So if you get the chickle and a chuckle out of watching today's installment for Madame Webb, leave a comment below, make sure you like, make sure you share the video because those things are way more important than a subscription. So bon appetit, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you after the video. Can
you name the 3 Spider-Man Tom Holland movies?
Well, just a second there, Professor. We fixed the glitch.
Yeah, no. Well, no.
And now, the man who's so famous in Japan, his fans couldn't contain their excitement any longer. Hello everybody. Hi. So excited.
And when you take on the responsibility, great power will come.
What the fuck is a golem?
Well, you know, the only time I come is when I look at Sydney Sweeney's rack. And I'll get back to those puppies much later on. So today, I managed to watch Madame Webb without going to the cinema, thanks to the lovely country of Spain. Buenas noches, señorita. And I've got to say, the film is an absolute colossal disaster. It's already scored 13% on RottenTomatoes.com. Not that that should be the barometer of measuring a film's mediocrity, but seriously, that is totally justified. Even though some mainstream critics are trying to shill up the movie, making it out not to be as worst as you think it is, but trust me, it absolutely is.
So it's lovely to speak to you, SJ. Thank you for taking the time.
Of course.
I'm a big Marvel fan, and it goes without saying that in this film, everyone is great, particularly Dakota.
I'm so sorry. Yes! You should be so sorry. All of you should be sorry.
The following program contains naughty bits.
Yes, hallelujah, it's the video show. And now, the man the BBC calls...
Jason King on Kung Fu Hot Dog.
So we've got to establish one thing about this film. The continuity absolutely sucks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be dropping spoilers galore for this awful movie because let's face it, being the train wreck that it is, are you going to be upset out there if I tell you, for instance, that maybe this film sets up Sydney Sweeney as Spider-Gwen because her outfit in the end, and by the way, again, doesn't even have any cleavage showing. I mean, what is with the cover-ups of beautiful women in our films, in our entertainment, ladies and gentlemen? Right. Oh my God, it's strangulating at this point. So in 1973, a heavily pregnant Mrs. Webb, because yes, you can have a pregnant woman who's stunning and brave going into the Amazonian jungle, accompanied by Ezekiel, who turns out to be the main baddie of the movie, but you already knew that anyway, discovers a species of spider that holds the cure to remedies diseases that inflict human beings, and she wants this spider. But so does Ezekiel, because apparently he has some kind of weird morbid connection with the damn creature. But of course, the only theory I go along with is that Peter Parker was bitten by a radioactive spider in the science lab he was visiting, because there's only one Spider-Man and there's only one Peter Parker. So fast forward to 2023. Beg your pardon, I mean 2003. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man was established in 2002, but according to the Wikipedia entry, the reason for this 2003 entry, because it's set a year before Spider-Man becomes the NYC Protector, which makes no sense because in 2002, he was already established as the New York City Skyline Protector thanks to Sam Raimi. So that made no sense. And also another thing that threw me off balance was the Fire Department of New York response unit, because I thought it was just the fact that they put out fires, but I had to look this up on Wikipedia, and no, they do actually have a division of paramedics who go and respond to emergencies. So when I saw Cassie Webb, and by the way, her accompanying partner is Ben Parker, as played by Adam Scott, who's a fine actor, by the way. Again, it makes no sense because he's been dating for a while, then he meets somebody, but because this is a non-Spider-Man movie but has a spider variant in it, he doesn't reveal the name of May Parker. So it's like, ooh, you're in love. So that to me was a slight oddity. I mean, again, I've got to remind you folks, you got to keep up with me here, right? There's been 3 other Spider-Verse movies. There was Venom, then there was Venom, Let There Be Carnage, then Morbius, which actually I find quite passable, and now we have this obscene entity that has entered the realm of the Spider-Verse. What's coming up after this? Kraven the Hunter with the plank of wood himself, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and I think after that movie, Olivia Wilde is going to give us her next insufferable outing as a female director in Spider-Woman. And who do you think might play Jessica Drew? Do you think she'll be a diverse hire, or will she be somebody else? But I think after the absolute catastrophic failure of Madame Webb, which sounds like a local brothel if you ask me, I don't think Sony will actually go full steam ahead with another film that will be an absolute stinker at the box office. Back to the plot of this movie.
There's a plot? I guess there is.
So it's established that Cassie Webb has these strange visions. She can see the future, but she doesn't actually abuse her powers because apparently you can't do that. If I could foresee the future, I would like to know what the next lottery ticket numbers are going to be so I can help my mum out. But oh no, apparently the powers don't work that way. And yes, before you're asking, yeah, she gets her powers because as her mum is dying in that South American jungle, the spider that bites the mum to induce the birth, so to speak, has imbued her with those mysterious powers. And in the meantime, Ezekiel is on the lookout for these women, Sydney Sweeney and the other 2 people I don't really give a toss about, except one of them's got very hairy armpits, as evidenced by my photograph right here. And while he sees these visions of them, he only sees them as teenagers. So the hired female hand, she's like a crypto online expert. He pays her a fortune to track down his women. And at one stage, when she discovers they're teenagers, she becomes really appalled by it until he says to her, yes, they were teenagers then, but not now. They're after me, and I want to know why they're after me. And in fact, it's even established in the movie, these girls don't even know who Ezekiel is. For some reason, he only knows who they are. So that to me was really just lazy storytelling. This film is directed by S.J. Clarkson. Who? Well, she did a few episodes of Defenders, which I happen to like because it was still the old school Netflix, and some episodes of Jessica Jones because Kristen Ritter is as hot as hell. And apart from that, yes, she hasn't done many other things that I can take note of and think, wow, S.J. Clarkson directed those? That's fantastic. She's a great director. But I gotta say, the biggest offender of this movie is Dakota Johnson herself. Yes, Dakota, you might have famous ma and pa parents like Melanie Griffith and the great Don Johnson himself. By the way, you should check out a very underrated crime thriller of his called Dead Bang. Fantastic. But just because you might be the apple that could have fallen off the tree, I've got to tell you, Miss Johnson, you fell, then you went several roadblocks along the way into a river, and that's it, because you lack any kind of talent. Her delivery of lines, it's like sleepwalking through an Amazonian jungle. She has no conviction, no emotion, just lacks any kind of reason why we should care about her and her character. Cassandra Webb is awful.
I'm glad I caught you before you headed back out. She's gonna be okay.
Who? Were you a fucking owl?
You know, Spider-Woman, Cassandra Webb, Spider-Gwen, Supergirl, they're all derivatives of their male, more successful counterparts, I would argue. And oh my God, this film it's like they've taken all the worst elements of The Flash season 4 from the CW network and they just reused them in this movie here. In fact, there are 2 more times in this film where they copy and paste the spider people in South America running up and down trees to save Cassandra's mum. It's hilarious that they just reuse those again. I don't get it. It's just awful. I mean, FYI, Dakota Johnson, knowing how bad this movie was, actually cut ties with her talent agency. So good for her. Does it mean she's going to become a better actress in future? I don't think so, but Dakota Johnson, you got to make better choices, love, and maybe go and take some more acting lessons.
Can you name the 3 Spider-Man Tom Holland movies?
Uh-oh. I think I heard a toilet flush. Maybe somebody lost a turtle.
Yeah, no. Well, no.
Sydney Sweeney, she's a delight to look at, I gotta say. In fact, while I was watching this film and zoning in and out of consciousness, I was imagining myself as Gene Simmons from Kiss and just staring at the lovely rack of Miss Sydney Sweeney forever and ever, because honestly, when I die and go to heaven, that's what I want to see waiting for me at the pearly gates. I've got to say the best actor in the entire film, or maybe actress, was the pigeon who flew into Cassandra Webb's house and then flew out again. Honestly, that bird had more acting talent in it than the middle finger of Miss Dakota Johnson. I gotta say, when it comes to baby showers, I do find those scenes absolutely cringe, but Emma Roberts is the pregnant mother, so she's invited everybody around, including Cassandra Webb. And how does Cassie Webb actually break the ice?
Oh, well, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't, like, I mean, obviously it was bad, you know, she died.
Yeah, actually declaring that your mum died in childbirth and then trying to make it funny, then not so funny, was actually pretty funny. The only half-decent joke in the entire movie. So Cassandra Webb is on top of this scaffolding fighting Ezekiel, the knockoff $1 Spider-Man, who they referred to earlier on, by the way, as Ceiling Man. Ceiling Man does whatever a ceiling can. Doesn't have quite the same ring, does it?
Iron Man does whatever an iron can. Take you back like a glove.
Hold it. That's Spider-Man. Black Sabbath did Iron Man.
I mean, don't forget, right? Spider-Man was established in 1962, starring the great Peter Parker. Because remember, folks, Miles Morales is just Miles Morales. So the fact they've actually not even acknowledged Spider-Man, because once again, this is a non-Spider-Man movie. It doesn't make the timelines make no sense whatsoever. I guess it's trying to establish itself as a film in a different universe, but you don't quite get that. This film is just here for, I don't know, support the Matriarchy. And in fact, every time you hear music in the movie, it's always by a female artist. This film really hates men. Oh my God, I miss the days of the Spice Girls because you know Simon Fuller and Simon Cowell were the two dudes behind those ladies. And when I say behind, I don't mean in that respect, but they understood the tongue-in-cheek humor that yes, it's all about girl power. You got Ginger, you got Baby, you got Chocolate, you got Sporty Spice babes, and they all knew what they were doing, and it was all for the fun of it all. You know, I miss that, but in films like this, it's really kind of mean-spirited. Men are still bad, they're still after us. We've got to protect ourselves, girls, and it comes off with the worst consequences than I could ever imagine. Who sat down and wrote this film? Who got it greenlit? Tom Holland is laughing his cute little ass off because he's not going to return as Spider-Man. Why should he? He's actually said, until a good story comes along, I'm not doing it. Maybe get John Watts to return as a director and maybe give us a fourth outing with Tom Holland. But I guarantee you folks, even if Andrew Garfield signed up for a Spider-Man 4 tomorrow, or whatever it's going to be called, people will genuinely get excited because, as Garfield proved in Spider-Man No Way Home, the audience loved him, and I still love him as Spidey. He's great. He kind of reminds you of Spectacular Spider-Man, whereas Tobey Maguire is amazing, and I guess Tom Holland is John Romita's Spider-Man. So on that one, ladies and gentlemen, I stood here today and I took another woke bullet for you. And somebody actually left a comment on my X-Men 97 review, and they basically said, oh, this is another excuse for you to rip into a what could be a really good project. And I said to the person, well, listen, this is Hollywood's fault. They're doing all of this. And I keep saying to you, Hollywood, keep making these awful mistakes because you're allowing people like me and other content creators out there to make more fun videos to absolutely mock the crap out of your efforts. Because the more you hate the fans, the more we're going to laugh in your faces, and there's nothing you can do about it. And on that one, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video today, hit the like button below, smash that subscribe button, and if I were you, and if you were me, you might want to come back for the next video. Going on the night train.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
So, this is Sydney Sweeney at the recent People's Choice Awards, and what can I say? She's the embodiment of the glorious, gorgeous, biological woman of 2024. And what is that obscenity standing next to her, you may ask? That is none other than Billie Eilish, playing the role of a homeless person all too convincingly, and probably non-binary while we speak about it as well.
Are indeed awful because this script is hot garbage.
If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire
Kung Fu Hot Dog.
I have always really loved Marvel movies.
So going into this, I mean, what percent of Marvel movies have you seen? Let's be real. And this isn't meant as a negative. Like, again, just...
4%.
4%.
Which is like 15 minutes of one. This interview is nuts.
Oh my God, so good.